Students, in the previous video sessions, we already have discussed about uniform circular motion, and introduction is been completed, and we already know what is centripetal force, centrifugal force, and how does centripetal acceleration behave as, and the direction of centripetal and centrifugal forces. Those we already have explained in the previous video sessions. Now let us take one example of horizontal circular path, like horizontal circular motion, which is conical pendulum. Conical pendulum is example of horizontal circular motion. Usually, if you are taking a pendulum, this is what a mass attached to certain height. And if you oscillate this pendulum like this, if you take this pendulum, you pull it upward, it comes to this position, and if you leave, it oscillate in vertical path. So it goes to some height and then again come back to mean position. It goes to some height, again come back to mean position. This is what usually simple pendulum behave as. But the conical pendulum is that you will be dragging the pendulum in outward direction. This is length L, and you will be dragging the pendulum in outward direction whose length is L. And you will make this pendulum to make a circular path horizontally like this. So you will be giving a force for this pendulum in such a way it should execute horizontal circular path. Like for example, if this is usually simple pendulum, what I do now, I'll take this simple pendulum to certain height and I will revolve it like this. In the horizontal path, this pendulum make revolutions, sorry. So if it is revolving like this in the horizontal path, it is said to be as conical pendulum. This is now conical pendulum. This is conical pendulum. Conical pendulum will make oscillations in horizontal circular path. Conical pendulum make oscillations in horizontal circular path. So this is an example of horizontal circular motion. In case of horizontal circular motion, as the body is moving in the circular path, therefore the gravitational force at any particular point will be remain same. At this position, gravitational force is same. At this position also gravitational force will be same because it is making revolutions only at constant height. The gravitational force acting in downward direction will be constant, and acceleration due to gravity at that particular position, which is at certain height, will be always constant. So therefore, in case of horizontal circular path, we will not consider the effect of acceleration due to gravity changes. So G does not change. Its value is constant. You can take it as 9.8 meter per second square, or you can round it off to 10 meter per second square in case of conical pendulum. That value will be remain fixed in the horizontal path. Now, when this pendulum is making oscillations in the horizontal path, if you take the pendulum bob at one particular point, like let me consider this is the position where you are taking the simple pendulum. This is the pendulum bob. Okay, I have denoted it with red ink. This pendulum has forces. One is tension T, which is along the string, and the other force is gravitational force, which acts in downward direction. There are two forces acting upon this pendulum bob. One is tension in the string and the other one is gravitational force. And there is other force which acts outward from the center of the circle, that is centrifugal force, which pulls this mass in outward direction. So centrifugal force magnitude is mv square by r, and centripetal force is balanced with centrifugal force. And in downward force there is gravitational force mg and there is tension T. So there are three forces acting upon this mass. Those three forces are tension in the string and gravitational force and also centrifugal force, which is acting upon that particular mass. Now you can balance these forces. Along x-axis there is only centrifugal force, and along y-axis there is mass mg, gravitational force acting in downward direction, that is mg. Tension in the string is in plane. I can resolve tension in the string into two components. One component in vertical direction and the other component in horizontal direction. And this component I can consider it as t cos theta, and this component I can consider it as t sin theta. So tension in the string is in plane. I will resolve tension in the string into two components. One is t sin theta and the other one is t cos theta. I can now balance these forces at equilibrium. F net along x-axis should be equal to 0. F net along x-axis is t sin theta. T sin theta is along negative x-axis, that should be balanced with centrifugal force, which is mv square divided by r. This is equation number 1. Next, along y direction, F net along y direction is equal to 0. Along y direction there are two forces, that is t cos theta is equal to mg. Now this is equation number 2. Okay, so we have got two equations. You can divide one equation with the other. So if you divide one equation with the other, what do you get? T sin theta, that is sin theta is equal to mv square by r divided by cos theta is equal to mg. T here in the numerator, T here in the denominator can be cancelled. Sin theta by cos theta can be written as tan theta. Tan theta is equal to m, and m can also be gets cancelled. It is v square divided by rg. This is equation for angle made by the simple pendulum or conical pendulum with respect to the vertical, tan theta. After finding out this theta value, you can find out this theta value. After finding out theta value, you can substitute the theta in equation 1 or equation 2 so that you can find out tension in the string of this conical pendulum. Students, we already have got equations for tension in the string. That is what we will be writing here. T sin theta is equal to, T sin theta is balanced with outward force. It is mv square divided by r. And the other equation is vertically. It is T cos theta. T cos theta is equal to mg, right? Let me consider this as equation number 1. Now look here. Coming to this figure, we have simple pendulum position actually at the bottom. This is mean position, right? This is actual position. What you are doing now, you are lifting this pendulum to certain height h and you are making it to oscillate in the horizontal path. So this length will become L and this is angle theta. Now I can take this triangle. I can take this triangle. I name it as O and this is A and this is B. From triangle OAB, I can write sine theta is equal to opposite side. What is opposite side? It is radius r of the horizontal circle divided by hypotenuse is L. Similarly, you can write cos theta is equal to, from here to here, this length I can consider it as like y, and this is height h which is lifted up. Cos theta is equal to y divided by L. Now how do you write h here? H is equal to length from the point of oscillation to this is L. H is equal to L minus, what is y? Y will become L cos theta. Y will become L cos theta. Therefore, height through which this pendulum is being lifted is L into 1 minus cos theta. This is equation for H. Okay, so this length from here to here will become L cos theta. Length from here to here will become L sin theta because it is opposite side and this is adjacent side. You can just resolve this L into components. Adjacent become L cos theta, opposite become L sin theta. So sin theta and cos theta values we have got it here. Okay, that you can substitute in equation 1. So using values of sin theta or cos theta in equation 1, we get tension in the string. So you can write T into, what is sin theta found out? It is sin theta is R divided by L, which is m v square divided by R. R is the radius. From here you can write tension T is equal to m v square L divided by R square. So this is m L into V divided by R whole square. Right? But what is V by R? V is equal to R omega. So V by R will be omega. This gives you m L omega square since V by R is equal to omega. Just you can substitute that omega here, which is angular frequency of the conical pendulum. Likewise, you can take cos theta y by L and you can substitute in T cos theta equation so that you can find out even tension. So this is the way you can find out tension in the string of the conical pendulum, and to what height it has been lifted up you can find out. You can find out kinetic energies at different positions, velocities at different positions by using just these equations. So this is the way you can solve problem related to conical pendulum. Students, in past few sessions we have discussed horizontal circular motion, like when the object is here, like when it is moving in the circular path, the object may be here or the object may be here or the object may be here. This is in the horizontal path. It is completely only along horizontal path, that is along x-axis. Vertically there is no change. It is the height from which, from certain, this is ground if I consider. From the height, like from the ground, the height h is equal for the body everywhere. From the ground, this pendulum or this mass which is moving in the horizontal circular path, everywhere it is at same height. Therefore, acceleration due to gravity here is g, acceleration due to gravity here is g, here is g, everywhere acceleration due to gravity is g. So purely motion is not along y direction. So purely it is moving along x-axis. Therefore, in horizontal circular path, circular motion velocity of magnitude of velocity, write it as magnitude of velocity. Magnitude of velocity of body remains constant. So this is a part of uniform circular motion, of course. If at all we are manually bringing change in the velocity, in such cases it become non-uniform circular motion, that is without impact of gravitational force. So we will not consider any effect of gravitational force in the horizontal path. Like velocity does not change due to gravitational force. V magnitude does not change due to gravitational force. Velocity magnitude does not change due to gravitational force. That is in case of horizontal circular motion. But when we deal with vertical circular motion, in case of vertical circular motion, the body will be moving in the vertical path. This is along y direction. Initially, the mass will be here. It goes to this height. And then from here, it goes to this height. And then again, it comes back to this height. Finally, it comes to main position. This is position A. It goes to B. It goes to C. And then it comes to D. And finally, it comes to A. When the mass is going in upward direction, what would happen to acceleration due to gravity? Acceleration due to gravity is in downward direction, but velocity of the particle is in upward direction. So in this case, what would happen? Velocity of mass is opposite to acceleration due to gravity. Therefore, magnitude of velocity decreases while mass go along path A, B, C. So along this path A, B, C, when the body is going upward, what would happen? When the body is going upward, acceleration due to gravity is in downward direction. Body is going in upward direction. Therefore, velocity magnitude should continuously decrease with respect to time. So when body is going from A to C, the magnitude of velocity decreases because always gravitational force pulls it in downward direction. Now coming to the other side, when the body is coming from C to D in this path, okay, velocity of mass is in the same direction as that of acceleration due to gravity. Therefore, magnitude of velocity increases with time. It increases with time along the path CDA. Along path CDA. Right? So only this is the difference between horizontal circular motion and vertical circular motion. In case of vertical circular motion, when the body is going in upward direction and when it is coming down, when the body is going upward, acceleration due to gravity is in downward direction. As a result, what would happen? As body is being pulled down because of gravitational force, velocity decreases when it is going up. And when it is coming down, velocity and gravitational force both are in the same direction. Therefore, it is being pulled by gravitational force. As a result, when it comes down, velocity increases with respect to time. So in case of vertical circular motion, what is your observation? Magnitude of velocity. In case of vertical circular motion, V magnitude is not constant. V magnitude is not constant. Magnitude of velocity is not constant. That's the important thing we should understand in case of vertical circular motion. Yeah, students, we already have discussed what happens in case of vertical circular motion. When the body is going up, velocity decreases with respect to time, and the direction of tension in the string also changes with respect to time when the body is going upward. Now, let me consider this position as A, this position as B, this position as C, this position as D. At A, gravitational force is in downward direction, mg. Tension is in upward direction. Tension and gravitational force both, like tension is in upward direction, gravitational force will be in downward direction. Centrifugal force will be in downward direction. That can be written as mv square divided by r. Centrifugal force is in downward direction. Next, coming to position B, tension is inside, mg is perpendicular to the tension, and centrifugal force mv square by r, that is outward, because always centrifugal force will be acting in outward direction. You need to keep that in your mind. Next, at position C, if you see tension T3, like tension is in downward direction, gravitational force is also in downward direction, but centrifugal force will be outward, that is mv square divided by r. Next, at position D, tension is inside and the gravitational force is in downward direction mg, and centrifugal force will be outward, which is mv square divided by r. Now let us take different positions. At position A, what happens to the tension? Let us see that. At position A, you can use free body diagram. If you use free body diagram, gravitational force and centrifugal force will be balanced with tension, which is in upward direction. So force in upward direction should be equal to force in downward direction at equilibrium. Force in upward direction is T1, which is equal to force in downward direction. You can write it as mg plus mv square divided by r. This is equation for tension at A. This is tension at A. I can just write it as TA. Now come to position C. At position C, I am not considering B, I am considering position C. At position C, force in upward direction is equal to force in downward direction. Force in upward direction, that is mv square by r, is equal to force in downward direction is tension in C plus mass gravitational force mg. From here you can write tension Tc is equal to mv square divided by r minus mg. Now from these free body diagrams, you are able to tell one thing clearly. Tension at A is a sum of gravitational force and centrifugal force. Tension at C is the difference of centrifugal force and the gravitational force. Therefore, clearly, tension at A is greater than tension at C. Tension at A and tension at C are not equal. Tension at A is greater than tension at C because the direction of centrifugal force and the direction of mass, like acceleration due to gravity, they are being in different directions at position A and position C. That's the reason why tension at position A is greater than that of tension at position C. So clearly you can tell that tension in the string is maximum at bottom and minimum at top. So tension maximum and tension minimum. So T maximum, you can just write it as mg plus mv square divided by r, and T minimum can be simply written as mv square by r minus mg. That is relation between T maximum and T minimum. You can find out the difference of T maximum and T minimum also. T maximum plus T minimum is equal to, you can sum up these two. If you sum up these two, gravitational force get cancelled with each other. That becomes 2 mv square divided by r. This is equation number 1. T maximum minus T minimum is equal to T maximum minus T minimum. So mv square by r gets cancelled. That will be 2 mg left over. That's equation number 2. You can take ratio of these two. T maximum divided by T minimum, which is equal to mg plus mv square by r divided by mv square by r minus mg. M you can take it numerator, and in denominator you can take m common and you can cancel that. So finally it will be written as v square by r plus g divided by v square by r minus g. Just I have changed the order in the numerator. V square by r I am writing it first, g I am writing it next. So it is v square by r plus g and v square by r minus g. Even you can resolve this. So T maximum divided by T minimum is equal to v square plus rg divided by v square minus rg. This is the equation for ratio of maximum to that of minimum tension. So as this is position A, this is position B, this is at C, and this is at D. Now let us calculate tension at B. Of course, there is outward force which is centrifugal here, and outward force centrifugal which acts over there at B and C. Tension at B. Now look here. Tension at B, like it is T2 towards the center. Gravitational force is acting in downward direction, and centrifugal force which is in outward direction. Gravitational force is not balanced with any other force which is in upward direction, right? So therefore clearly you can write gravitational force is not balanced by any other force vertically. Therefore F net along y direction will be equal to mg, which is not equal to 0, and F net along x-axis will be sum of all the forces which are acting over there. That will be tension T2. T2 I can just write it as TB, which is inside, and the outward force is centrifugal force. This will be mvb square divided by r. So tension at B is equal to m into velocity at B whole square divided by r. Right? So that is tension at B. Likewise, you can calculate tension at C. Tension at position C. Tension at position C also. You can just write it as F net along y direction is equal to mg, which is not equal to 0. F net along x-axis will be, along x-axis there is tension T2 and D, like mv square by r, which is outward. So tension T2 will be balanced with mv square by r. I can write it as tension Td. So therefore tension at D is equal to mass into velocity at D whole square divided by radius r. So clearly, what's your observation? Tension at B and D are equal. Tension at B and tension at D are equal in vertical circular motion. So along the horizontal line, their tensions are equal. So we are finding tension at D. It's not tension at C. This is tension at D. So tension at B and tension at D both are equal because they are at the same horizontal level. They are at same horizontal level.